There are 5 signs a man wants you badly, but is hiding his feelings for you. And I want to say something that might sound completely backwards. The man who has been the coldest to you lately, the one who went quiet after a wonderful evening, the one you have almost convinced yourself does not care, he is probably the one who feels the most. Not the man who called the next morning. The silent one. The one you have been trying to talk yourself out of thinking about. And I know this because for most of my life, I believed the opposite. I believed that when a man is interested, he shows it. He calls, he shows up, he makes it obvious. But there is something it took me until my 60s to understand. At 65, when you have already lost something that mattered, feeling this way again is not exciting, it is frightening. And frightened men do not call. They go quiet, stay with me, because once you see what I am about to show you, you will never misread that silence again. Signal 1. He remembers things you never expected him to. Think about the last time you mentioned something small in passing, not a big story, just a detail. Your granddaughter's name. The tea you have been drinking lately. The doctor's appointment you were a little nervous about. Did he bring it up again later, as if he had been holding on to it? If the answer is yes, I want you to pay attention to that, because it is nothing. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist at Rutgers University who has spent decades studying how the brain behaves when we fall for someone, found that attraction activates a part of the brain associated with focused attention and motivation. In plain language, when someone matters to us, the brain starts filing away everything about them. Not consciously, automatically. You do not decide to remember. The brain decides for you. Now, here is what changes at 65. Men at this age talk less than they did at 40. They share less. They have gotten quieter over the years, and most of the time, the people around them have gotten used to that. Be so. So when a man in his 60s starts holding on to the small things you say, starts asking about the granddaughter by name, starts remembering that you take your coffee a particular way, that is not just good manners, that is his brain telling you something he has not figured out how to say yet. I remember a time I could recite the full schedule of a woman I had known for only 6 weeks. Her Tuesday walks, her Friday calls with her daughter in Portland, the name of the town in Ireland where her mother grew up. She never knew I remembered any of it. I never told her, but my mind had been keeping a quiet record of everything she said, because somewhere underneath all my caution, she had already mattered. Most people remember the headline of what you tell them. He remembers the footnote. That is not a coincidence. That is a man paying the kind of attention you only pay when you cannot help it. Remembering what you say is something he does on his own, in private. But there is a sign you can see with your own eyes every time you are in the same room, and once you know what to look for, you cannot unsee it. Signal 2. He becomes a different person around you, and he knows it. You have probably seen him with other people. At church, maybe. Or at one of those community dinners where everyone talks over each other and nobody really listens. He is easy, relaxed. He says something funny and moves on. But when he is near you, something shifts. He does not become louder or more charming. He becomes more careful. He sits a little straighter. He takes a half-second longer before he answers you, as if the words actually matter this time. He glances at his shirt when he thinks you are not looking. Small things. The kind of things that are invisible unless you know what you are watching for. That is not awkwardness. That is a man who is aware of himself around you in a way he is not aware of himself anywhere else. And here is what I want you to understand about men at this age. By 65, most of us have stopped trying to impress people. We have earned that. We stopped caring about the small performances a long time ago. So, when a man who has settled comfortably into himself suddenly starts paying attention to how he comes across around you, that is not habit. That is intention, even if he would never call it that. Watch what happens when you mention another man, not in any dramatic way. Just casually. A neighbor, someone from your book club. Notice if something tightens in him. A pause before he responds. A question that sounds like small talk, but lands just slightly too pointed. People often call that jealousy, as if jealousy is a weakness. I would call it something else. At 65, when you know what you want and you are not willing to lose it quietly, that reaction is not insecurity. It is clarity. A man who feels nothing has nothing to protect. So far, both signs have been quiet ones. Easy to miss if you are not paying attention. But the next one is different. This one will probably confuse you at first, because it looks nothing like interest. It looks like the opposite. Signal 3. He pulls back after your best moments together. This one is the hardest to explain. And I know that because I lived it. A few years after my wife passed, I had dinner with a woman I had known for a couple of months. Nothing planned. Just the two of us at a quiet restaurant, talking for close to 4 hours. At some point I realized I had not thought about anything else the entire evening. Not the drive home I needed to make. Not the thing I had been worrying about all week. Just the conversation. Just her. Drove home, feeling something I had not felt in a long time. And then I did not call her for 5 days. Not because the evening had not meant anything, because it had meant too much. Somewhere on that drive home, my mind had made a quiet calculation that I was not even fully aware of at the time. The last time I had felt this open with someone, I lost her. And the part of me that remembered that loss did not want to feel it again. So it pulled back. Not from her, from what she made possible. I want you to understand something about that kind of silence. It is not indifference. It is not a change of heart. It is a man whose nervous system remembers grief even when his heart has already moved forward. You can tell the difference if you watch the pattern. If he pulls back right after a real moment, not after an ordinary one, that is the sign. The silence comes hardest after the best evenings. After the conversations where something true got said. After the moments where neither of you wanted it to end. That silence is not rejection. It is the sound of a man who is feeling more than he knows how to carry right now. He is not pulling away from you. He is pulling away from how much he has already lost. Now, all 3 signs so far happen at a distance. In his mind, in his behavior, in his silence. But the 4th sign is different. This one happens right in front of you, in the middle of a conversation, and most women walk right past it without realizing what they just saw. Signal 4. He deliberately keeps conversations shallow. When a man in his 60s has feelings he is not ready to say out loud, he does not tease you. He does not make jokes at your expense. That is what younger men do when they are nervous. At 65, the armor looks completely different. He talks about the weather, the news, his grandchildren, your grandchildren. He asks about your garden, your neighbor, or the trip you mentioned last month. Safe subjects, things that fill the air without asking anything of either of you. On the surface, it looks like pleasant company, nothing more. But here is what I want you to notice. A man who has no feelings for you will also keep things light. The difference is that he keeps them light because he has nothing more to give. A man who is hiding something keeps them light on purpose. He is steering. Every time the conversation drifts toward something real, something personal, something that might require him to say what he actually feels, he finds a quiet way to change the subject. Not rudely, just gently, consistently. The tell is not in the small talk itself. It is in the moment that the small talk breaks. Watch what happens when you say something true. Not something dramatic. Just something honest about how you have been feeling, or something you have been carrying. His whole manner shifts. The easy rhythm stops. He goes quiet for just a half beat longer than usual before he answers. When he does answer, there are fewer words, but they land differently. Heavier, like he chose them. That pause is the armor coming down. Not all the way, just enough for you to see what is underneath it. At this age, a few seconds of that kind of silence are worth more than an hour of easy conversation from someone who is simply passing the time. Small talk is not nothing. Sometimes it is everything a man can offer while he is still working up the courage to offer more. Everything I have described so far lives in language, in what he remembers, what he says, what he does not say. But the fifth sign lives somewhere he cannot control at all, and it is the one that never lies. Signal 5. His body faces you, even when he's trying to look elsewhere. You can lie with words. You can control what you say, what you do not say, how long you wait before you respond. Language is manageable. A man who wants to hide what he feels can hide it there. The body is a different matter entirely. Paul Ekman, a psychologist who spent his career studying how people communicate without words, called it nonverbal leakage. The idea is simple. The body reveals what the mind is trying to conceal. Not in dramatic ways. In small, involuntary ones. A flicker of expression before the neutral face is put back on. A posture that shifts before the person realizes it has shifted. At 65, the leakage is quieter than it was at 35, but it is still there. And once you know what to look for, it is unmistakable. It is not the obvious things. Not the lingering eye contact you read about in magazines, or the feet pointing toward you that every dating article mentions. At this age, it is smaller than that. More habitual. More honest. He drives more slowly as he approaches your house. Not noticeably. Just a few miles per hour. As if the arrival is something he is not quite ready for. He stands at the door longer than the goodbye requires. The conversation has technically ended. He has said goodnight, but his feet have not moved yet. He turns back to look at you when he is walking away, just once, quickly, as if he caught himself doing it. These are not gestures he has planned. That is exactly the point. A man who plans his gestures is performing. A man whose body moves before his mind has approved it is telling you something he has not yet decided to say. The mind can guard the words. It cannot guard the half second before the words come. That half second, the pause, the glance, the slower drive, the feet that will not leave, that is where the truth lives. His words will catch up eventually. His body already knows. That is the thing about men at this age. We have lived long enough to know that desire and fear can exist at the same time. We can feel something real and still pull back. We can think about you after a meaningful moment and still stay quiet for days. It is not always a lack of feeling. Sometimes it is simply uncertainty, caution, or old wounds that have not fully healed. So what do you do with that? You do not force a conversation he is not ready to have. Pressure rarely creates openness. Instead, you stay grounded in who you are. You remain steady whether he has been warm or distant, not because you are waiting for him, but because your sense of self does not depend on his attention. And if you want to break through the small talk, offer something genuine. Share something that matters to you, something you are carrying or looking forward to. The honest moments create space for honesty in return. Trust grows from authenticity, not pressure. You have already done the hardest part. You stayed open after everything that could have made you close your heart. That quiet courage matters more than you know. Has a man ever gone quiet on you after what felt like a real moment between you two and you did not know what to make of it? I would love to hear your story in the comments. You are in good company here.